Hey there riders, Moto Journo Kris here today. I have put the Quickshifter, the genuine Honda OEM Quickshifter on my Honda Transalp. I did it myself, I ordered it myself, got it, put it on. There was a couple of complications, but it's not a hard job. So let's have a quick rundown of whether you should do it yourself or just get the dealer to do it. Now, as far as the Quickshifter itself, I think it's $330, $340 here in Australia. When I went to order one, they were on back order and they couldn't give me a date. So I actually just went online and found one online. I did save a little bit of money, not a lot, but every little bit counts. However, I then did discover that I needed the little diagnostic clip that goes into one of the spare plugs under the seat to be able to then turn on the Quickshifter, and the same is needed with the heater grips, and I ordered the heater grips as well. Now, as far as the installation itself, I was going to do a step-by-step, but I just got halfway through and just went, no, I'm not doing this. The instructions are fairly simple. It does involve disconnecting the battery. You take the standard linkage off, you take that top arm off, you take the sprocket cover off. You do need to undo a plug on top of the clutch on the other side to pull the Quickshifter plug through, which just has a dummy cap on it. You plug your Quickshifter in. You do have a little clip that gets put in behind that sprocket cover, which will hold the cable of the Quickshifter in place. There's a little cable tie plug for it. Then you put everything back in place, basically assemble your Quickshifter, and yeah, they do recommend setting a bit of tape so that you can get it at the exact same position it was before you put the Quickshifter on, and you're pretty much good to go. You just tighten everything up, a little bit of Loctite, not a bad idea as well there. And then once you've done that, obviously put everything back in place. So you put the plug back in on the other side, make sure you've tightened up the linkage, you connect your battery back up, connect in that plug into the diagnostic tool, which lets you basically do the diagnostic stuff in the dash. And then you can turn on your Quickshifter and you can run the initiation, which that was actually a little bit complicated because it took me a second to figure out that they wanted me to start the initiation and then start the bike in neutral. But once I got that working, it all initiated and it was working quite quickly. The complications was ordering a plug for the diagnostic tool. The Honda one's like $100. I basically ordered one from Rated R Parts, which is like an Australian eBay shop who offer a whole heap of stuff. It's for the Transalp and the Africa Twin. Plugged it in, it has a switch on it, and was good to go. So that was only like 30, $35. Saved me a little bit of money there, but if you're doing it yourself, you do need to add that on to the cost of basically the system. Now, if you were to buy the Honda genuine little tool to do that yourself, that would be about $100. With the installation of the Quickshifter being half an hour, it would probably work out better to just take it to a dealer and say, can you install this at the service for me? And if they charge you for half an hour's work, it'll be the same. So just keep that in mind. And obviously it's always good if if you've ordered it through the dealer, doing that is probably going to be your best value option. But you can do it yourself very easily. Super, super simple, realistically speaking. Apart from needing that little plug, which there are some workarounds for that, but none that I would dare to do because I'm not going to try and short wire my loom. And the other thing you need is some electrical tape, which I did have to go out and buy, or I borrowed some off my dad actually, halfway through when I realized I needed to basically electric tape up the Quickshifter plug where it goes into the loom the way they recommended. A little bit of a mystery why it just doesn't come done properly, ready to go like that, but anyway. And yeah, basically, genuine Quickshifter, it all integrates into the dash. So you go into, you set up, you turn on the Quickshifter, you run the initialization, and then there are 3 settings in the Quickshifter, which I've yet to play with. I've gone for a couple of rides and used the Quickshifter, and I've got to be honest, I'd say mixed reviews from me at this point. I love Quickshifters. I just absolutely love them because basically when I got my Daytona 675R with the Quickshifter on it, on the aggressive upshifts, you'd get that real crack on the acceleration, which was beautiful. It was so, so nice. And this is an up and down Quickshifter. So it'll auto blip on the down, and obviously you get your upshifts as well with the ignition cut. Really quite cool. And I was very, very keen to have that on the bike. I did find that the shift on this bike is a little bit notchy. And I found on a lot of the modern bikes, they are notchy and they do seem to have been designed for a quick shifter. So some of the bikes which are a bit notchy, with the quick shifter installed and in use, the quick shifter totally negates that. Where if you're actually shifting by hand with the clutch, you'll notice that, and it's actually nicer with the quick shifter than doing the clutches yourself, no matter how well you do them. And I thought that might be the case here. Now, I will say that I think the quick shifter integration is good, and that is why I bought the Honda OEM. I wouldn't even consider an aftermarket one when you can just get one that plugs straight into the bike and is turned on the dash and all that kind of stuff. Just doesn't make sense to wire something in manually when you can do that. So that is really, really good. So I'm really happy with the Honda genuine quick shifter. The price I don't think is too bad because you're actually getting a proper quick shifter. It isn't one of these situations where they want you to pay a couple of $100 or $300 and they go into the computer and flick a switch, all digital. I think that is really lame, and I do not appreciate manufacturers charging significant amount of money to turn on features in your bike. And maybe I'm alone there, but anyway. So yeah, you're getting a proper quick shifter, which as you can see is just down here. As far as the quick shifter operation, I've gone for a number of rides with it so far, and it's not as good as I expected or as I hoped. Probably the main thing I've found with quick shifters in general is that most of them do have some quirks about how you're going to get the most out of them. And so at face value, if you're unwilling to work with the quick shifter to get the best, you'll have a bad experience. So there are quick shifters which prefer to be used with a little bit of a throttle blip. There are some which prefer to be used on acceleration. Some of the downshifters can be a little bit finicky about downshifting, you know, depending on whether you're accelerating or decelerating and stuff like that. With this one, I did find it's a little bit clunky in some conditions. Now, apparently there's hard, medium and soft settings that you can put it on, which I think basically are the sensitivity. I'm gonna have to play around with that to see whether I can get it just being a little bit smoother, I guess you'd say. You can go to do a partial shift and it'll cut the ignition and you'll get a blip on the down. For instance, sorry, on the up, you'll get like an ignition cut if you don't do a full movement. And on the downshift, you actually do get that blip, which if you're just riding around, it'll, you know, rising the revs obviously gives you a bit more drive. However, it is not a super aggressive blipper like on some of the bikes I've tested, like the MV Augustas. They have a super aggressive blipper, which is a lot of fun. This is a little bit more refrained, a little bit more subtle, and certainly on the downshifts from what I noticed, that blipper was not really noticeable when you were successfully doing a shift, which is probably how they're designed to be, but does take a little bit of the fun out of it. The one thing I did find is, especially two up, using the downshift, it could be really quite harsh, and you'd get that real thunk and the bike could kind of, yeah, you'd be getting that real like unsettling of the bike on the downshifts. And so I do think I need to just ride the bike more and see whether the quick shift performance improves on those downshifts. Because again, like I said, you really need to just figure out the best operating range of the quick shifter. I actually found it was working really well at quite low RPM, both up and down, which surprised me because some of them, they've put in a floor for the RPMs where the quick shifter will operate on, basically because people complain about the quick shifters not working right down low. And the answer for some of the manufacturers was just being like, well, you know what, we're just going to lock out that part of the rev range and you can only use it higher up when you're riding a bit more sportily. Not the best solution, because certainly some manufacturers have done a very, very good job in getting them to work from right down low. This one seems to work, and even from those low RPMs, but I'm still really getting the knack of making the most of it. When I was riding out through the twisties around here, I was having a good bit of fun. The upshifts didn't seem to be an issue at all. It was the downshifts that I really do need to work out how to get the best out of it. But on the upshifts, they are not the most aggressive upshifts. I'm not getting like a really nice little punch. I will say, I think, to be horribly brutal, It is probably on the more boring side as far as quick shifters go from what I've seen on this bike. That might just be because of basically the way it's set up. I may not be riding it hard enough. I do need to check those 3 settings, and I'll come back and do a video, hopefully when I've got a decent bit more time on the bike. I've gone through those 3 settings and seen whether one of them improves the issues I'm experiencing with the Quickshift. Would I recommend it? I think it's a good addition to the bike. I do like it, even though at the moment I wouldn't say it's perfect. It's not so much that it's missing shifts, it's more that it's just super clunky on some of them, which is a little bit annoying, but really not a huge problem. I do think it's a good addition to the bike. I think it's an easy do-it-yourself job as long as you get that little plug for the diagnostics, and it's probably something I'd recommend. It is a little bit on the pricier side. Is it a necessary modification? No, obviously not. You can very, very easily shift on this bike manually, and you can really probably do clutchless shifting without a quick shifter quite easily as well. A little bit of a knack to that on all bikes, but again, it's not hard to figure out. So yeah, at the moment, I'm happy to have got it installed. It was a fairly easy job, decent value. At first I was kind of like, oh, quick shifters used to be like 200 bucks, especially for the OEM ones. However, I did have to keep in mind this is a up and down quick shifter, so it is a little bit more complicated. And yeah, it's a cool piece of kit. I would say it's worth it at this stage. But like I'm saying, I'm hoping I can get it a little bit more refined, so I'm enjoying it a little bit more, and particularly with the pillion on the back so that I can use it a little bit more actively on those downshifts. And again, yeah, not have my pillion headbutting me in the back of the head when I use it and it doesn't quite work the way I want it to. If you have any questions, let me know down below. And as always, stay safe out there and thanks for watching.